All right. And we are live. Just want to highlight the salt lamp. Some tapping, gentle tapping. Feels good. Tastes good too. Gonna start us off. Sounds a little flat today. It might be cold in here because when the metal is colder, the pitch is flatter. It's something I learned in marching band. Yes, of course, I was in marching band. Hi. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I am your comedic meteorologist. I've had quite a long day, but I am ready, raring to go to bring you another update. I love doing these. This is like my daily meditation on what the vibes were on the planet Earth today. So, this is just like a recap of what we learned in school today. If you are like me, you may have realized or came to believe that the Earth is a school for character creation for the next level. This is like it's like elementary school. It's like the third grade where elementary school starts to get hard, but also it's the character creation development stage of the universe where we're building our character for the real game. This is like the part of The Sims where you're building the character. So it's not as fun, and you just have to pick your stuff out of sliders, and that you get the points that you get, and you have to distribute them the right way. Okay, what am I talking about? Let's go ahead and take a look at some of tonight's top stories. Would like to start with Uranus. Now, I'm not going to be very mature about this story. It says Voyager found a mystery on Uranus. Decades later, NASA solved it. So we've solved a mystery. Unprecedented views of Uranus were beamed back from NASA's Voyager mission. In 1986, Voyager 2 probe, a probe of Uranus, was sent into deep space. And it found an interesting thing. It found that there was a flow of particles from Uranus that was abnormal. An abnormal flow was coming from Uranus. And that is because there was no source of the flow of particles. Usually, a lack of plasma coming from Uranus is because there is a source of radiation eating away at the plasma. We've looked at this with Earth's magnetosphere and the sun interacting. Here's a big magnetic bubble. Usually there's a nice film protecting Uranus from the hard blasts of the sun's ejecta. But when there's that nice protection layer, there's plasma that comes out in a torus field from Uranus and back into it. Out of Uranus and then back into Uranus of plasma, and weak radiation belts. Now, when there is a dense plasma, a really fast, dense solar wind from the sun, like what just happened to be happening when Voyager 2 was probing Uranus, dense plasma struck by, collapse the magnetosphere to a small magnetic bubble, so less of a protective barrier was around Uranus at the time, so its radiation belts intensified. So it was of radiation in coming from Uranus. But in fact, it was just the solar wind bumping up against Uranus and breaking down the protective barrier around it. Have all my serious people left now? How long can I make jokes about Uranus? Let's go to our next story. I talked about this yesterday briefly, but there was a new underwater eruption that created a island in Japan, the island nation of Japan. There we go. Gas bubbling up from below, born out of fire and water comes Earth. Beautiful, but it's a new island in the chain. Let's see. There's also been heavy rains causing flooded roads and houses in Sicily, the island nation that's kind of part of Italy. Is it its own nation or is it Italy? Who knows? Depends on what time period you're in. Sicily is dealing with heavy flooding. This is, in these the subtropics in the northern hemisphere, we have been dealing with a lot of heavy rainfall and flooding. It's happened here in Asheville, it's happened in Spain, and it's happening in Sicily right now. Let's see. Let's go to check out our volcanoes today. Okay. Stromboli. We got Mount Ibu, Lewitobi, and Dukono looking at volcanic ash emissions. Santiaguito in Guatemala had a volcanic ash plume. Let's take a look at the of November 13th. Karimsky, Shivaluk, and Dukono. Shivaluk and Karimsky are in the Kamchatka Peninsula of Russia. Explosive activity continues. Mount Abeko on Paramushir Island has erupted. Mount Ibu is emitting ash. Lewitobi continues to explode. Sumeru continues to explode. Dukono continues. Aya on Flores has daily white emissions as the volcano rose up 350 meters above the crater rim, drifting in multiple directions from October 30th to November 5th. Popo has new volcanic ash emissions. Fuego has explosive activity. Sungai and Reventibor were not detected, but likely. Okay. And here's the full list of what is technically erupting right now. Okay. Sorry, I'm so sleepy. Let's go to our earthquakes. Anyone here yet? Nope. Checking out our earthquakes. Where's... Trying to see. Oh, it's in a different tab. Hold on. I put it in the other screen the other day. Do you see it up there? Look, it's on this screen. Gotta drag it over here so I can look at it. Okay. So let's look at just the last day. 4.6 up here near Taiwan. That is at 25 kilometers depth. We got a 4.5 on the Volcano Islands. 4.6 at 76 kilometers depth here. 4.2 in the Philippines. A 4.9 off of, we got 4.8 here. 4.4 near Papua New Guinea at 522 kilometers depth. That's a deep one. 4.8 here. As we get at 10 kilometers depth, of course. Doing a 3.1 here in the Ring of Fire. Got a lot going on here. Let's take a look. Take these quake sizes down. What is this bigger one? 4 Nevada. This was... Where is this? Mina, Nevada. That is... What is this near? The Monte Cristo Range. In the Monte Cristo Valley. It is near the Silver Peak Range. Near Esmeralda in Esmeralda County. I don't know what's out there. But they had a... They had a 4.3 today. There was also a 3.2 down here in Southern California at 1 kilometer's depth. And if I take my magnitudes back up, you can see all the little baby quakes are out in Oklahoma today. There was a 5.0 off the Guerrero coast of Mexico. There was also a 4.3 just off the coast of Guatemala. We had a cluster of 3s and 2s all around Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic. We had 3.9 up here in northern Chile, 4.2 in central Chile, and a 4.3 in Bolivia. Or in Argentina, excuse me, at 159 kilometers depth. This 5.1 in the South Sandwich Islands, that was yesterday. Not too much else to speak of. We've got a 4.1, 5.1, and a 4.9 here, pretty deep in the earth, all in this Afghanistan-Tajikistan border region. Yeah, interesting to me that we've got, this is the moon line, and this is the sun line, and like this is the ecliptic plane, and the earthquakes were right across the ecliptic plane today, at least on that side. Okay, let's go down to our atmosphere. I was looking ahead at our forecast because we've got some rain moving through the southeast tonight. if we march ahead, it's going to be here into the early hours of tomorrow morning. Let's take a look at our radar, though, to see what has already been going on. See what 75 frames gives me. It'll take a second. We do have a flash flood possible mesoscale discussion down here in Mississippi and Alabama. There had been some power outages associated with this as well. This is a classic mid-latitude cyclone where we've got our stationary front up here, our cold front dangling down, and our occluded front in the back with the center of circulation. And of course, all the troughing. It'll make kind of a comma shape coming up and curving around, but all the hairy, nasty stuff will be down here on the dangler, the hairy, nasty danglers. Here, stretching from Jackson, Mississippi to Birmingham, Alabama, all the way up into Nashville, Tennessee, and Bowling Green, Kentucky. All of this should be moving through the western North Carolina mountains overnight. So I can tell you that I had a feeling it was going to rain as I drove home tonight, not because I've been keeping an eye on the weather, but because the animals were out and acting frisky, and you could feel something in the air that felt like not ominous, but alive. Felt like the earth was coming alive again, like every nook and cranny had a little story hidden within it. Like it was one of those nights where it didn't feel like a flat background of just countryside at night going by. It felt like every little shadow had a world of stories within it that were just like hidden to anyone who didn't have the time to stare hard enough to find the truth. There were a lot of eyes poking out and glowing. There were a lot of critters scurrying about looking for food or a good place to hunker down. I also felt very like alive and energized and like I had a wild hair up my ass, you know, kind of that really gives you that little mentally ill feeling. Maybe that's why I'm so obsessed with the weather. I just really like knowing that when I get these feelings, that when I feel more of my creature side coming out, when I feel more of my animal side coming out, it definitely coincides with the weather. It definitely happens when there's a low pressure system rolling in. I can feel it. I can feel that there is something about to change. I get antsy and I want to be part of the change. I want to be like active. I get aggressive about like really wanting to make changes to my normal routine or setting because I want to be in control of the changes that I sense coming, looming off in the distance. It is pretty windy tonight too and cold. So pray for everybody who doesn't have shelter tonight in the areas still devastated by Hurricane Helene. We are doing our best. We're doing our fucking best out here to get everybody shelter and warmth, but it is pretty hard. Let's take a look at the global weather patterns, actually, because I haven't added a let's go back to this. Which one? I'm gonna go to let's look at our frontal analysis. That looks like shit. Let's go to water vapor full conus, full disk. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, you can really see it here. Do you see the beautiful, like, swirling together of dry and moist air? How we're getting a lot of poleward motion of the moist air in the tropics. You can see how what's spinning out and not getting spun into this vortex at the ITCZ is all making it up into the Gulf Coast and spawning clouds there. You can see the band straightening out a little bit, and you see this backflow where right over the Midwestern plains is where the center of circulation is, but the real area of spin is what's getting yanked into this spin. Like, the real storms are coming from the area that's the most changey over the most volatile water. Um, I like to use words like changey and changiness when I'm talking about gradients and derivatives and accelerations and angular momentum speeding something up, or that kind of stuff, because that's really what math is. Math is it sounds a lot easier when you use dumb words like changey. How changey is the wind here? Not how much is it accelerating, but how changey is it? And what is the changiness? What's the changiness in the north and south direction? Is better than, like, that's easier to understand than saying, oh, what's the second derivative of the wind vector in the y direction? No. What's our j hat? No. Where's the uppy downy changiness? Uppy downy changiness would actually be k hat, but never mind. Anyway, did you know that we use a lot of letters in meteorology and they're really annoying? They're not annoying. They're pretty cool, but they're a little pretentious, I would say. Let's look at Wendy. Oh, I haven't put myself back on here. Got to get my beautiful face on here. I like my braids tonight. I don't know if you can see them, but I think they look really cool. I think my hair looks really cool tonight. And I don't just think that. I know that because many people told me my hair looks cool today. You see? It's very, very, very cute. Got little, like, I like to look like the braids just got blown back and stuck that way. Okay. Eating as much as an elephant eats. I've got stuck in my head. Okay, the weirdest song stuck in my head. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it is chilly. It's, what is this? I'm not looking at Charlotte. Let's look at near me, Asheville. Yeah, it's in the 40s. I mean, it's going to get cold tonight. We're getting in down here in Alabama, look at this. It's getting pretty chilly down there. Let's X that. Let's look at what variable are we even looking at right now? Wind? No, let's look at temperature. Yeah, it's pretty cold here in the mountains. It is very cold over in Colorado. They've been having snow already. There are some snow warnings in effect. Let's take a look at what watches and warnings are currently issued by National Weather Service. Do I not have that bookmarked? Thought I had a bookmark for current watches and warnings. whatever. Maybe go to pivotal weather. Yeah, here we go. Current hazards. They're looking at freeze warnings in the mountains of California. We've got some winter storm watch. Where's the winter storm watch? Is that in Virginia? Oh, coastal flood watch there. Where's the winter storm watch? I see coastal flood warnings. Up here on the very far eastern Tennessee border, we've got high wind warnings, and yeah, it is pretty windy here. And high wind watches. I don't see our snow, but that doesn't mean there's nothing. Let's see our observed precipitation. Yeah, that is a week of precipitation. I mean, we've gotten really lucky in the storm ravaged parts that we haven't gotten too much precipitation with all of our fucking roofs blown off. Let's go now to take a look at solar wind. Let's look at our magnetosphere, because we started off talking about the magnetosphere of Uranus. Let's talk about the magnetosphere of Earth. This is that protective bubble of magnetic of the magnetosphere, that little contact lens around the eyeball that is Earth. Looking quite low density here. It starts with a nice high density, and then we're probably getting a wave impact. Something's coming to make this a low density. Yeah, just ate away at our protective layer there. That would mean oncoming. Yeah, big shocks to our magnetosphere. So we are currently, like, that's what it should look like. Currently, we've got basically no protection. Just raw dog in the solar wind. Let's take a look at the pressure. Plasma pressure. Which is kind of like atmospheric pressure, only on an extremely smaller scale. Like, we're in nanopascals, where the atmospheric pressure is hectopascals. So not only on different sides of zero, but very far away from, like, just a Pascal on either direction. Yeah, man. We're, all right, let's take a look at our solar weather. Okay, so they still have yesterday's launch as a Type 4. On the 13th, we only had 1, 2, 3, 4 coronal mass ejections. Not too many. And the 14th had a pretty fast one, too. Let's take a look at real-time solar activity. Looks like we're calming down a little bit. 3889 is still a beta gamma delta type of sunspot configuration. Let's take a look at our latest SOHO imagery, if this doesn't lag too much. Solar protons are still down. We're still looking at minor solar flare activity. Interplanetary magnetic field strength is moderate, but the direction is north. So that means that the coupling between the Earth's magnetic field and the interplanetary magnetic field won't be as favorable to ion precipitation or northern lights. Beautiful. That's that big launch. Yeah. There we go. Wow. Some good big ones. Big sun farts. There we go. Look at this big sun fart. It's like a pimple exploding. Yeah. That's a good one. Okay, let's go next to check out our planetary weather. All right, and this is what I'm blaming the wild hair feeling of foreboding stormy feelings on. We are about to move into the sun in sextile with Pluto in Comedic degree, finishing up its transit in Capricorn. And we're going to finish that off with a bang, a flair for the dramatic with sextile to the sun in Scorpio. We've also got a sextile between Mercury in Sagittarius and Black Moon Lilith in Libra. I think that is why not just me, but other people have been losing their car keys recently. I also want to point out the moon in Aries really Chiron in Aries is sextile exactly to Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, and that is kind of a parallel sextile to that Mercury and Black Moon Lilith. You could also look at this as Mercury, Chiron and Moon and Jupiter making nice isosceles triangle. Kind of got a mystic rectangle going on if you count aspects to Black Moon Lilith. We're also starting to form a basket here between Mars in Leo, Pluto almost into Aquarius, very late degree Pisces Neptune, and very late degree Uranus and Taurus. I personally have a lot of planets in these borders between the these late feminine planets degrees into the early degrees of the masculine planets there. And I can tell you, it's a wild ride having these degrees. Uranus and Taurus is stationing retrograde. It's stationed retrograde right over my Sun conjunct Mercury. I can't explain to non-Taurus natives what the fuck it's like to live a life in 24 and 25 degrees of Taurus. It's weird. It's weird down here. Things are not stable, not steady, and they're not going to be ever for a long time. And you have to get used to that. You have to surf the waves. You have to ride the waves. My mind is an enigma. Moon is also making a T-square between Pluto opposite Mars. That's the two malefics opposing each other. And Moon in Aries is not the calmest moon. It's not super happy, but it's not the worst place the moon could be. But it would certainly like to be in Taurus more. That's a little bit more of a comfy, cozy sign. Moon in Aries is more of a fight or flight, heightened nervous system kind of energy. More like fighting for truth and justice and shit, but like, that's not always the best feeling. It's the feeling of justice and vengeance and courageous self-righteousness and knowing that you are fighting for something right. So that making a T-square between the malefics means that we are really setting off a good illustration of what we're fighting against right now. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. It is a Mercury day and a Saturn hour. Sorry, I didn't get to you in a Mercury hour. I don't Hi, I was about to log off, Kaylee. I'm sorry it took so long for me to get on here, and then now I gotta go so soon. But I have a writing assignment. I'm writing a little bit of comedy for a local paper. So I've got to finish that assignment tonight. I've also got to get back to volunteering in the morning. And yeah, got a lot on my plate. I got to go do all my shit. But I love you very much. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I'm just very thankful. I'll be doing these every day. Keep going forward. So don't worry. Thank you. I love you so much. Have a great night. Bye, y'all.